Return of the Jedi was the climax and conclusion of the Star Wars trilogy. It gave George Lucas the financial power to complete his dream project. But the Skywalker Ranch, a place for movie development, not a studio, but a think tank which was going to turn Hollywood on its head. Jedi had to be a hit, so Lucas packed in as many safe elements as he could come up with, from teddy bear heroes to another Death Star attack, another battle with walkers, another Luke versus Vader duel. The people who knew George's work and the people who knew him wanted him to direct more movies, to do different things. His wife, Marcia Lucas, wanted them to travel, to see the world. Whenever they'd go overseas, though, George would end up sitting in the hotel room watching TV. George wanted to create this thing, this place, this hangout for people who used to go to college together, who wanted a safe place where they could dream big and prepare their screenplays and concepts, so they'd be ready to present their work to the studios they wanted to get money from. The studios, the very entity Lucas revolted against to begin with. When people get to a certain level of success in Hollywood, they can get rid of the people who tell them no. And without exception, they do let them go. If you look at the early drafts of The Empire Strikes Back, it's a remake of Star Wars. It had a gun platform instead of a Death Star. He brought in Leigh Brackett, the writer of the space operas that inspired him in part. Brackett did one draft. She finished it while she was dying of cancer. Over the years, we hear the story that Lucas didn't use anything from her draft, and he just put her name on the screen as a tribute. He didn't give John Dykstra any bonus from Star Wars because of how the special effects were put together for the original. He's not going to give away a screen credit to someone who's dead out of some sense of loyalty when he hardly knew who she was. Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote the script for Raiders of the Lost Ark, was brought in. Empire became what it is today in large part because of Irvin Kershner, the director. So what does he do with Return of the Jedi? He's got another Death Star. It's got another Death Star run at the climax. It's got another Death Star exploding at the climax. Short Wookiees instead of tall Wookiees. Little walkers instead of big walkers. And lots of TIE fighters. It became less about an intergalactic battle. It's about family, as the late Carrie Fisher said. Well, she was right. If he didn't do that, if he made Vader who he was in the scripts for Star Wars, he was just this bad general who killed Luke's father. It breaks the story wide open, because anything can happen. It isn't just about Luke. If Luke falls, someone else is going to take up the fight against the Empire. He's just one player in this larger thing, which is what the original movie was about. Luke finding himself while being part of something bigger. Making Vader Luke's father shrinks the focus down to these two specifically. You can see in the third movie, Leia and Han Solo have nothing to do. That's why Harrison Ford wanted to die, so it would add something to his character that he was willing to sacrifice for the rebellion instead of just himself. Lucas coughed up all his money to make this huge movie, all the puppets and all the creatures, and it was all bluster, and it made more than Empire did. There's kind of a dinginess to Alan Hume's photography. The movie looks drab. I mean, John Williams does his best. He struggles to do something with this movie, but there's just not a lot of there. But he managed a fantastic scene when Vader says, if I can't turn you, I'll go try to turn your sister. And Luke goes mad. And that's where Williams's music takes on an absolutely tragic tone. While the camera pulls back, watching these two fight, the music is telling us this is how it had to end. It had to be this way. That is the nature of tragedy. He listened too much to Joseph Campbell, who told him, this is a myth. This is a modern myth. And he's like, yeah, it's a modern myth. The adoration from Joseph Campbell didn't inspire Lucas to anything great the way that the success of Star Wars let him go on with Empire. Because he got rid of Kurtz, and Leigh Brackett was dead. And Lawrence Kasdan was new in the business, and he owed his career to Lucas. I'm not saying it could have been Citizen Kane, but Return of the Jedi didn't have to be this procession of toys and junk and exploding things that really didn't have a lot of emotional weight to them. I'm just saying it could have been really top quality entertainment. Battle going on in Coruscant, on the land. Can you imagine walkers going around the streets of Coruscant? And Leia leading the troops into battle. And meanwhile, there's a space battle going on. And then underneath all of this, literally, another layer of the story is Luke, Vader, and the Emperor. The lightsaber battle in Empire Strikes Back is key because it was cool, but it was also emotionally battering. I mean, think about it. Little kids thinking, my father is the bad guy. That's pretty strong stuff for, what is a kid's movie. I mean, Lucas says it was a kid's movie, right? Well, I always thought Star Wars and Empire were aimed at teenagers, whereas Jedi was aimed at like 9-year-olds. And then we get to the prequels, and Yoda is throwing a lightsaber at the stormtroopers and bouncing around like a fucking gremlin. So Return of the Jedi was a turning point for Lucas. It was fine. It was good enough. He had all the dreams that people like Scorsese and John Milius and Coppola had. And then he just turned into everything that he didn't like and eventually sold it for not millions but billions. I enjoyed Return of the Jedi, but the more I thought about it, the less I liked it. I didn't see it as many times as I saw Empire in the theater. Partially about me graduating high school, and you have to stop being a child. Rolling Stone magazine, June 1980. We are taking the profits from Empire and Revenge of the Jedi and investing them in outside companies, then using those profits to build the ranch